we've already installed the driver, and we're coming over to the controller. So we're coming into the controller and we're looking at MIDI control. So when we come over to MIDI control, we select up on MIDI control, we get this menu come up, and on the input here where my mouse is, you always got to follow my mouse, we can see there's a USB oxygen there. So we're going to input a USB oxygen for the control of the DMX lights. Okay, and the reason we're doing this is because we want to control DMX lights from a sequencer, so we can put some music into a sequencer track, and then we can program light shows to particular beats of music, rather than just letting them do their own thing all over the place, crazy, shoot here, shoot there, go here, that. So we want some control over our lights, and we're going to get control over our lights by this MIDI control. So we've set up the USB MIDI there. So we're going to tell you how to set up, the MIDI next. Okay, so I've got the camera going on the MIDI keyboard now, and we've got a camera going there. So the two cameras going to explain this now, right? So down here, you've got all these options under MIDI control. So just because we've just set up what I've just explained to you, I'll be able to explain it to you a bit better from the outside. These are the options, and depending what functionality you want of your DMX lights, you can select these options. On this one, we're going to be using the MIDI synthesizer controller to control the lights. So the notes on the keyboard can control the notes that we press in here. We're going to be able to program it, so you can open a cue, you can open lamps. But what we're going to do is we're going to set it up to start and stop tracks, because we'll be working in a sequencer, and we want the lights to come on and go off, so we can program the lights in a sequencer. So if you come down all the way, you can see my mouse, and you've got hundreds of options, not thousands of options, hundreds. You've got a few options there. So I'm coming down here, thousands of options, and you can see all the different channels you've got there. Okay, so hopefully I'll get past this really quickly, and I'm going to get to the one where I want to get to, because I want to stop and start channels. So yeah, okay, so I'm quickly rushing down here quickly. Where am I looking for? What I'm looking for, and probably what you're looking for as well, because this is what it is. Yeah, through all this, so you got to go through all this, submaster run, blah blah, you go through all this stuff. Apparently the learning curve on this is intensely mad, but anyhow, I don't know how I got it sus, but let's have a look what we got here. See this here, start sequence 1. Okay, so we're going to set up the sequencer now. So we've set up the MIDI controller, and we've got the software. We're setting up the software to be able to control the DMX lights from the software with the MIDI controller, with the music in the sequencers. So this is what we've got to do to set up your. Obviously, I'm using the hardware, the oxygen. Whatever hardware you're using, that'll be your driver for your MIDI keyboard. So what we do to get into this, because when we click this, and I'm just going to go over here and type a note on the keyboard. You should see me pressing my finger here. You see nothing's going in, okay? So to get it started up, you have to click start. Okay, you see me do that? That's click start. And then we have to click on edit. Once we got it into edit, we can put input from the MIDI control, because we just set up the MIDI for the MIDI input of this to control the lights. So now to set up the sequence, because I want to stop and start sequences with the notes in my MIDI sequencer. So at the moment I'm going to go and press a note, and because I want to start sequence 1, I'm going to come over here and press the first key on my keyboard. Can you see that? I'm just going to press the first key on my keyboard, and that's the note I'm going to program. And when I press that, the number's gone in for my MIDI note, and can you see the number 36? And that's the first input. Now I've got to do this for the rest of my channels. I'll do a few. So I'll come over to my second sequence, and I'm going to select this note. You can choose any notes you want, but I'm going to choose this note. Every note running up to the keyboard, because I might want to use some other notes for other things, you see. So I'll come over to sequence 3, and then I go and press my third note. Okay, so here's my third note. That'd be my third note there. So I press that, and you can see the numbers going in. There's only so many options for this, but that would be my 4th sequence. So I want to start my 4th sequence. This would be my 4th note. Okay. So come over to my 5th sequence, and then I press my 5th note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my 5th note. We've got 20 channels. We've got 20 channels in this, so I've got to do 20 channels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my 6th note. Make sure it's my 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's my 6th sequence to down there. So I'm going to go through this, you know, because I can edit it afterwards. But the only option for starting and stopping sequences is the... so yeah, I got to do this first.
Okay, my Kalini handful presses a key on the MIDI controller to input a reference into the Freestyler software program that will later enable a sound sequencer such as Cubase VST to start and stop a light sequence that will be programmed and styled once the Freestyler program has been configured this way. We make more inputs across the MIDI keyboard controller to be able to control the start and stop sequence tracks available for edit in Freestyler. Notice that there are 20 start sequence tracks and 20 stop sequence tracks.
You can program any notes you want, but I want to do it like this.
We make more inputs across the MIDI keyboard controller to be able to control the start and stop sequence tracks available for edit in Freestyler. Notice that there are 20 start sequence tracks and 20 stop sequence tracks.
Okay, I'm going to stop the vid at this. Stop that. Sorry, stop this. Stop this, stop that.
Okay. With the MIDI controller figured inside Freestyler, let's now move on to part 4 of the tutorial. All of my YouTube productions can be located by clicking onto the link of my home channel. That's Practical Pete Forgot Reminder.